Welcome everyone to another checklist rundown. Today we're going to be going over 2021-2022 Chronicles Soccer. Breakdown, same as usual, 3 mini boxes per hobby, 1 per league, 1 auto or patch per mini box, and 12 hobbies per case. Let's go ahead and get started. We're going to go league by league with the rookies and the vets, starting off with La Liga's top young guns. Oihan Sanset. He is one of the older rookies in this class, but is one of Spain's best up-and-coming attackers. Despite coming off the bench for most of Athletic Bilbao's games, he netted the third most goals on the team and should see a lot more time in the upcoming season as he pushes to become the main starter. Facundo Pellistri. He was loaned to Deportivo Alaves from Manchester United to get him more first-team play, and while he was starting, his performances impressed enough to net him 6 caps for Uruguay, and will most likely see him being picked for World Cup duties come November. Robert Navarro. He impressed so much in La Liga 2 for Sociedad's B squad that he earned 3 under-21 caps for Spain and scored 3 goals. This upcoming season should see him break into Sociedad's first team and light up La Liga the way that he has previously. Nico Williams. He burst onto the La Liga scene this past season while playing alongside his brother Inaki and has been nothing but a joy to watch. He isn't prolific in front of goal yet, but his ball placement and work rate are something to marvel at. In the years to come, the Ghanaian international can remedy his finishing. He should be getting close to double-digit goals before too long. Fer Nino was one of the few bright spots for an absolutely confounding Mallorca attacking front. Despite being one of 5 main strikers and getting relatively little game time, he still managed to impress and shone in Spain's under-21 team. Yeremy Pino. His breakout season was the 2020-2021 season, and he continued picking up steam all throughout the 2021-2022 season, including scoring a beautiful goal in the Champions League. And a sometimes boring, efficient Villarreal side, he maintains a creative spark that should continue to develop going forward. Matthew Hoppe. He had a stellar breakout campaign in 2020-2021 with Schalke, earning his first U.S. men's national team call-up, only to be shipped off to Mallorca and left to rot, much like Fernandinho was, due to managerial incompetence. As it stands, his outlook is questionable at best. We don't know if he'll even be on the U.S. men's national team World Cup roster, but the hope is there because he was extremely exciting in the Bundesliga, and hopefully he can rekindle that. Gavi, the ever-present Barcelona starlet who has captured our hearts and minds going forward. What is there to say other than, obviously, we're going to be chasing him. Now for the vets of Spain's top flight, starting with Pedri. Gavi's second fiddle in the hobby. He has a Noir auto and certified patch. Keeping with our Barcelona theme, we have Messi picking up a treasured signatures auto, followed by Neymar, who has picked up a silhouettes auto. And lastly, Vinicius Jr. doubles up on autos with silhouettes and origins, alongside having a patch from XR. Now on to Serie A. And no better place to start than Bologna's Emmanuel Veneto. He didn't get a ton of play in a congested attacking front this season, but is poised for a breakthrough and has all the tools to succeed, especially after several successful caps for Italy's under-21 squad this month. Gioniste Antiste played a dutiful bench role for Spezia's this past year after his arrival from Toulouse, alongside 5 other strikers. At the end of the season, he had clearly beaten out 4 of the 5 and has the tools as well as the entire length of the summer to work to secure the starting spot going forward. Giacomo Raspadori. He was my pick back in Donders to be the true standout striker from the bunch, and I'm excited to stand with that decision yet again, especially after a very successful season with Sassuolo and productive work in the Italian squad. A move to a bigger club is definitely on the books, but I wouldn't mind a little more time for him to grow in the amazing talent factory that is Sassuolo. Caio Jorge. He is a name that we have mentioned for UEFA Chrome, and we will be bringing up yet again here. He hasn't played many minutes for Juventus, but is easily one of the most exciting young prospects at the center forward position. Only downside is the injury that has kept us from seeing him. A ruptured patella is a rough one to come back from, and we won't see him until after the World Cup, most likely. Raul Moro. He was a Barcelona youth player before Lazio scooped him up, brought him in, and played him in over a dozen games this season. As he progresses into their system, he should become a perennial starter, and eventually we could see him make a return to the Spain under-21 team and potentially the main squad. Lazar Samardzic. He was one of a dozen new additions to Udinese last summer, which was followed by the dismissal of 2 different managers. He was by far the brightest shining young signing, and despite his little playing time, averaging less than 22 minutes per appearance, he always made an impact. Red Bull sold him as excess, but I see no reason he can't develop and make them regret that decision rather rapidly. Gianluca Busio. He was a dominant force in the midfield for Venezia when he was healthy, following his transfer from Kansas City. This earned him multiple U.S. men's national team call-ups, and should his form continue despite their relegation, he'll find himself included in the World Cup squad for November. He was extremely key in the midfield for Venezia, and I honestly believe he is one of the best midfield options for the U.S. men's national team going forward. Now for some of the ever-present greats of Italian football. Starting with Kaká for AC Milan, having a treasured signatures auto. Alongside him at AC Milan, we have Paolo Maldini with a contenders auto. Diego Maradona has a short print Origins auto for Napoli. And oddly enough, Gabriel Batistuta has both a treasured signatures and noir auto, but instead of for Fiorentina, it's for Roma. And with those two out of the way, I believe it's time for us to move to the EPL. Let's quickly knock out the ones that we have talked about and seen before, starting with Harvey Elliott. Harvey didn't see a ton of games last season due to an ankle injury, but shone when he eventually made his return and is clearly one of the brightest prospects in the Premier League going forward. Cole Palmer similarly dealt with injury issues while trying to break into the City first team, but in his few appearances seemed a nuisance for defenders to deal with. He's on one of the best teams surrounded by elite level talent. He's set up for success going forward. Gabriel Martinelli came back from a torn ACL and lit up the league for Arsenal, earning himself the number 11 jersey and Brazil national team caps following his Olympic gold medal performance. Anthony Elanga remains wildly popular as a prospect due to him playing for Manchester United, Erik ten Hag's coaching methods, and his recent play with the Swedish national team. Whether that will translate to anything more than hype going forward remains to be seen. Joao Pedro. He has had the misfortune of playing the last 2 seasons for Watford, a now notorious yo-yo team. A team not known for their attacking prowess, especially when they are in the Premier League. The hope for Pedro is that he gets freed from the living nightmare that is Watford FC sometime in the near future so he can truly flourish. Jacob Ramsey. He came in and took over a role in the midfield for Villa, never seeming to have a truly off game or seeming lost. This was very largely due to him having some playing time in the previous campaign, but seeing him step in and make himself irreplaceable was a refreshing surprise for the season. Joe Gelhardt. He appears to be the true replacement for injury-prone Paddy Bamford. He flourished in the back end of the season after Jesse Marsch's appointment as manager and is ready to take a jump as the team loads up on more offensive talent this summer. Michael Olise. He stepped up in a major way for Palace this season, helping the Eagles to a cup semifinal and receiving his first French under-21 call-up. It won't be terribly long till he makes the leap to a full international as he develops further under Vieira. Jessurun Raksaki. Playing on the opposite side of Olise in the Palace attack, Raksaki absolutely demolished the EPL2 division, netting 23 goals and assists in 25 games at only 19 years old. I'd assume the next step in his development would be a loan to a championship side, followed by breaking out into the first team. Sky seems to be the limit on this wonder boy. Cade Gordon. He is another player that impressed in the EPL2 this season, as well as the UEFA Youth League, going full 90 minutes against the notorious youth sides and Porto and AC Milan, playing the full 90 minutes against Norwich and 60 minutes against Arsenal. He may not have scored goals on these outings, but being trusted to come on and play against squads of international players is high praise for a young player from Klopp. Now, to wrap up the EPL, the stars. Mason Mount has a cornerstone auto, noir auto, and origins patch. His teammate Christian Pulisic has a silhouettes auto and patches in Chronicles, as well as illusions. Harry Kane racks up 2 patches in playoff and illusions, and 3 autos, silhouettes, noir, and contenders. His partner in crime Sonny has a cornerstone and contenders auto to look forward to, as well as an origins patch. And lastly, KDB has a noir and silhouettes auto to go along with his Panini patch. To wrap up the checklist, we have some of the biggest names to ever do it, and they are on multiple teams in this checklist. Seeing the easiest way to approach them would be to simply put them together so we can keep track. Starting off with Dennis Bergkamp. He has a Treasured Signatures auto for both Inter Milan and Arsenal, and a Noir auto for Inter Milan. David Beckham has a Treasured Signature for Manchester United, and a Noir auto for Real Madrid. Thierry Henry has a Treasured auto and both an Arsenal kit and Barcelona kit. And lastly, Cristiano Ronaldo. He has a Cornerstone and Treasured Signature for Real Madrid, Contenders auto for Juventus, and Silhouettes and Cornerstone auto for Manchester United. As if that wasn't enough, he also has a certified and playoff patch for Manchester United. Now it's time for Beevs Bold Ones, everyone's favorite segment where I tell you my bold prediction, bold claim, and frame it for posterity on the internet. For today's bold one, I have said it before and I will say it again. 2018 Donners and 2019 Chronicles Soccer have been the best sets simply because they had the best prospects, outside of Holland, to hold on to. Every year, a new player from the 2019 Chronicles set pops up and becomes worth money. It was too perfect of a set to truly expect to be replicated. Last year's was not nearly as prospect heavy. It was overprinted. It had a lot of issues, especially with the H2 boxes. But this year's feels different. There are players here that you won't find anywhere else, and those players have serious value to look forward to, if they pan out. Add to that, on release, the price of hobby boxes and breaks is going to remain relatively stable and very affordable. It's a solid product and will easily outperform last year's by a country mile. Will it be able to actually contest with the 2019 product? Jury's still out there.
Now, with all that being said, it is time for you to like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment down below, help the algorithm. Follow us on Instagram, and with a link down below, you can join the Discord. Get in on the conversation with all of us. Till next time, guys.